Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Global Goddess Fest, a week-long virtual festival to inspire, activate, and connect female leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives worldwide. So thank you all for being here today, and thank you to our guest, Jessie Johnson, for being here and sharing her magic. She's tuning in from California, and she's just a total badass. So I'm super excited for you all to get this glimpse of the wisdom that she's sharing with people all around the world, and really highlighting what does it mean to be able to make money with impact. So she's the founder and CEO of her own multi-million-dollar personal development company. Like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss on here. Beep, yeah. It helps ambitious women, driven entrepreneurs, both men and women, actually, and business owners, so that way they can make money with clarity, ease, and efficiency. So I think we can all raise our hand and say, yes, please, right? So Jessie and I met really beautifully just kind of through some mutual friends, and when we first started talking, it was online, and we're like, we got to meet. And almost immediately we were found in a very similar proximity and location. So we're like, all right, let's get together, share a glass of wine, and share what we're doing here on the planet. And I was just so motivated and inspired by this woman. And since then, we have kept in touch, and I'm so excited to bring her into this community that I've been building. So thank you so much for being here.
It's such a pleasure, Rae. I'm honored.
So yeah, let's just dive right in.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so I think the first question that most women that are watching this are asking is, how did you get to where you are? And I know that's such a loaded question, so I would love to have you share a little bit about your background and what
Absolutely.
you did before this.
Yeah. Well, and let me just say also to start, this just feels really important to say that I recently found out that out of all million-dollar businesses, million and up, 2% are owned by women. And you're right that I work with all kinds of people, all genders, but when I heard that statistic, I felt suddenly very motivated to focus more on women, because that number is so out of proportion. I had no idea. So I feel proud and honored that I am one of those 2% of women, and also really committed to anyone in this time and era who wants to be a part of raising that number to really support that work. I started really in math education. That was my first career. I taught New York City public school, high school students, algebra and geometry for almost 12 years. And really my mission during that time was to use education, and math in particular, and all of my tools as a social emotional master, to give those low-income kids of color access to free choice to do whatever they wanted in their lives. And it just didn't work, Rae. I mean, that's the truth, is that it's like I had great relationships with those kids. We all had a really good time together. They learned some math. I learned it way more probably than they did. But fundamentally, my middle class, white, privileged upbringing was not something that could transfer. Like, I didn't do anything to become middle class, and so it didn't give them, like, there was no, it's like the cultural boundaries that separate the classes was not something that we could overcome. And I'm telling you a lot that, like, I see really good, right? Like, hindsight is 2020. So I could not have articulated this at the time, but now it's really clear to me. When I started my own business, I wanted more freedom, I wanted more impact, I wanted more money, and I wanted more integration of my spiritual life and my educational life and my ambition, honestly, because I knew I was here for great things from a very early age. And being a New York City math teacher was great inside, but I knew that there was more. And when I started doing the work around money, it took me a little while. That wasn't the initial focus, but when that came and I started making money, then I realized, oh, now I know how to do this, right? I was raised middle class. I know what that's like, but now I'm not middle class. I'm looking at the Pacific Ocean right now. I'm living in Marina del Rey. I'm living a life of luxury and abundance. And because I now know what's required to make that shift, I can now teach that to others, including the kind of kids that I used to teach. And so that's just been massively inspiring. When I kind of got that, I was like, oh, I'm in. This is the material that I want to focus on. So I'll just share one more story. There were two kind of significant financial milestones for me. One of them was when I made $20,000 in 1 month. The first month that happened, it really felt like these big chunks of my subconscious material around what was possible and what wasn't possible just fell away. And I mention that because I think that there's something that we don't know until we experience it, about the power of results to change our subconscious. I don't know that I had ever experienced it before. It was like I brought in that $20,000, I saw what had happened, and I could feel, oh, this is different. Like this program that's running under the surface all the time that I wasn't even really fully aware of is like glitching right now, because it doesn't compute. It doesn't think that this result that I just got is possible. So it's like, like struggling to function. And I was like, wow, this can happen. We can change our subconscious programming. But the only way we can do it is through experience, right? If we just understand it intellectually, it doesn't convert. And so that's, specific to the spiritual community and transformational community, and a lot of tribe that we've talked about, that's part of how we know each other. That's part of what's missing often in people's integration of this material, is that they have the thought, like thoughts become things. They have the thought, we create our own reality. They have the thought, the universe is abundant and I can have everything that I want. But on an experiential level, they're not experiencing that. And so that's really like, now that's my focus, is helping people to bring those theories into experience so that they can truly create the lives that they want and have the impact that they want. That's really the only way we can do it. We can't have that impact if we're not doing that inner work to dismantle the subconscious limiting beliefs that we are carrying around with us. So it's super fun. I love my life every day. So grateful.
Totally. And I think your message is so perfect for most of the women that are watching this, because a big mission for the Global Goddess Fest is to bring in diversity. So that range of audience that you're talking about, that you're like, I want people to get this and I want to bring it to all these different levels and all these different cultures and where everyone comes from, is so unique, whether you're in the middle class, whether you're in a third world country and tuning in. And I think I want to just kind of dissect this and really get clear, is that this work, like every human could do it if they are willing to step into the work. Is that correct?
Absolutely. There's no question.
And so, as you're watching this, I know it might be like really like pushing some like comfort buttons, and you're like, oh, I like this video is not for me. Skip, I'm going to go to the next one. But I want you to really take wherever you're at while you're watching this, while you're hearing Jessie talk about what she's gone through and where she's at now. And just note what's happening in your physical body, because these are the places that she's exactly talking about, that you get to have that chance to really reconstruct and break through.
Yeah. I just want to share, I was just before this, I was on the phone with a client who is getting really clear about what stops her. And I just loved the image that she shared. So I just want to share that with you guys, that on one side, she's got this failure story, like other people can do it, but not me. And she can use all the experiences of her whole life when something didn't happen the way she thought it could or should or hoped it would, to prove that. And so her subconscious is just running that story right there. And as unpleasant and disappointing and really kind of miserable as that trajectory is, it is like guaranteed. And there's a certain kind of safety that she experiences in that. If she doesn't try, if she doesn't lean into her edge, then she can say that's why it didn't work. If she tries and like steps into the unknown where it might actually work, there's so much vulnerability there because it also might not, right? And the tenderness that she feels around really putting her full self out there, knowing that it might not work. Oh my God. I mean, I just felt so much. It's like that tenderness is so real. It's so, you can feel it in your chest. And that is I swear to God, that is the reason that most people don't do this, because it is so vulnerable to step into possibility. Because when you do that, of course, all the abundant and exciting and full possibilities are there, but so are all the others, you know? And so people, you know, understandably, but unconsciously, I think, tend to choose by default safety in mediocrity. And you're right, some people might feel judgment or something like that when I say that. It's not a judgment, it's just the truth. You know, if you are not already living your full expression, if there is any area in your life in which you are not already knowing, like, this is what I want and this is what I'm doing, then that area is a place of, that's what I would call a lack of integrity. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because there's a gap between who you really are and what you're doing. And we all have that. I have that. Okay. But to the extent that we're doing the work to close that gap, that's when we can actually have the impact that we literally came into these bodies in this lifetime to have. So I'm so inspired to offer like some fierce truth about that, and also like light a fire under everyone that's watching this to go out there and take action in that direction that's a little bit scary or maybe terrifying, because that's where like your destiny lies.
Usually in like the most terrifying one, right? At least for me. That's where it seems to, everything comes into that alignment.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any exercises or anything that you could share for people that are watching currently?
So I would love for everyone, and Rae, you can do this too, just for fun. Write down the number that represents your average monthly income currently. I'll do it too. Okay, and you can estimate. This does not have to be perfect. If you have a salary, you probably know exactly what it is. If you're an entrepreneur, it probably has a little fluctuation. Just choose your average number. Write that down, and then add a 0 to the end of it. And imagine that is now your average monthly income. And notice what that feels like in your body. What thoughts and feelings arise as you imagine that. It's such a simple exercise, but this is one of the exercises that I use with all of my clients to connect them to both vision and mindset. Because just by playing with this number, you can kind of feel, oh, this is my vision, okay. And it may not actually be, okay, but it just gives you like, you know, let's send you into a totally different territory than what you're doing right now. Feel it. What would you do with that money? How would you spend it? What would that be like? How would you show up differently in your relationships, in your business, in your career? How would sex be different if that kind of money was in your bank account? You know, like just imagining how it would touch all these different parts of your life. That's the visioning part. And then to the extent that you're excited about it, that you feel aligned with that, great. To the extent that you're uncomfortable or you notice some anxiety or fear come up, that shows you where your mindset is and how aligned you are internally to actually creating that number. Rae, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want, I think it would be really beneficial for these people just for you to share what you noticed.
Yeah. I think what I noticed, and I'm coming from a place of, I've been doing a lot of this work, especially recently. And so I noticed that with my number, I actually got so much excitement came out of it. And it was like pure excitement and pure bliss. And I already, when you're saying, what would you do with this number? I already have a game plan. So I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. This is what I would be doing. And this is kind of what I'm doing. And, just on like the next level. Okay, cool. But I want to point out that if this was even 6 months ago, a year ago, and I think it'll always, we'll have different layers that we're unraveling. I know what my reaction would be. And it would probably be like this. That's not going to happen. It would immediately go into doubt.
Yeah.
And it would actually feel like, it would feel bad. It would feel worse. It would feel like, okay, great. Now here's this number that, like, a carrot hanging right in front of my nose. Like, I'm never going to actually get that. And so I think that's every feeling that's coming up is, acceptable. And also it was really cool to be experiencing my own personal transition and how I feel towards this. Because I'm coming from, I was a touring musician that, like, for a few years at the beginning of my career, I was living like basically on the street. Like, I didn't really care about money. That was the last thing I cared about. And I was like hanging out with the other people on the street, sharing my music, and so money has been a tricky thing for me because it's been something that I haven't really felt like I ever really, really needed. And in that place that I was in, it was a very immature mindset because it also kept me playing really small in my music. I was just playing for whoever would pass by on the street, and they would only hear me for maybe 10 seconds, which would be worth maybe 10 cents to them. Maybe they would get a little jolt of excitement in the smile that I gave them. But that's pretty much it. There were times where I would play for 2 hours on the street, and literally the worst time was I made like $1.30 for 2 hours of putting my heart and soul out there. And so, I wanted to say that because this is not, it's a journey, and it takes intention and attention to create the inspired action to be able to step into feeling a little bit more comfortable about where the numbers go.
Definitely. Well, congratulations on making that total transformation. And if you want, after our conversation today, I would encourage you, Rae, to add another 0 just to give yourself the experience of like stuff. Yeah. And just to name this, it's really important when you start working on on increasing the wealth that you're bringing in or increasing your income, that you choose a number that you actually care about. And this may not be that number. Whatever your number is, that's the number to work with. But this is what I consistently help entrepreneurs with, is adding a 0 to their monthly income. And the reason that I do that is because at that level, the amount of transformation that happens and that's required, it's both, you're just guaranteed to do this deep work and move through your material and then see a taste of what you're really capable of. And then we do it again. So I love that, Rae. I love that you were super comfortable with that first number, because then it means we can plant that seed that, like, okay, add another 0.
Oh yeah, now that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Oh, that's such a good tool. I think everyone can definitely use that. And I think another cool thing that we can use is also, like, as I was, kind of backtracking to where I used to hold myself, it's like that 0 has been added on multiple times. that
Yeah, because
dollar
you're
and
getting paid
30 cents
$1.29 an hour
turned
now.
into $130 and turned into $1,300. So, and I think everyone has at least experienced that, that is watching. So kind of, okay, yeah. Oh, maybe this isn't like just like talking. This is actually very, very real and possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And whatever it is that you want, you know, any manifestation or like science of creation kind of teacher will say this, that the thought is the first manifestation. And that's significant because most of us think that the thoughts are the dreams, right? That the thoughts are they're actually, sometimes people feel like they're the proof of what we haven't done or what we can't do. But it's the opposite. The thoughts that we have, the visions that we have, the dreams that we have, that's the proof that those things are possible. We wouldn't be able to think about them or imagine them if they weren't here and available. And our capacity to dream is what begins the manifestation in form. So it's a good thing. It's a powerful thing. It's a reason to celebrate. So if you look, whatever your number is, and of course I stand for this, like adding that zero, but whatever your number is, to really celebrate, like, oh, I can imagine that means I can create it. I don't know how, maybe, but I believe I can do that. And once you have that, then the action steps that you find to kind of get you from where you are to where you want to be are actually visible and available to you. If you don't believe in that number, if you don't believe in that vision, if you aren't able to celebrate, like, oh yeah, more is possible, then there's no action steps that will really get you there. So that's step one, is really claiming your vision excitedly, like with enthusiasm and dedication and devotion. And whatever it is, I know that you guys are a service-based community. I am also. Focus on that too, and include the financial component. Whatever the financial component is, just include that in your vision so that you can bring that along, so that you can create that as well.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be an and or this or that. And I think that's what the world can actually use more of. It are people that are heart-based, that are centered, that are like, oh, I see this amazing vision of like unity and peace. And, these, like, as much as these numbers feel stretchy, how stretchy does it feel to actually imagine the world being in unity, not having war? It's the same stretch that we are creating, that the same switching of the paradigms internally. So this is an amazing practice to just take it into your own hands and take responsibility for your own life and what you can be creating. So thank you so much, Jessie, for just like bombing us with some wisdom right here, giving us all those good love bombs. And so everyone that's watching, Jessie has a free gift for you all. And it is a meditation that is all about creating wealth with ease. So this is not about working and not sleeping all like every day and every night. It's about really bringing this in with ease and fluidity. So the link will be below this video that you can grab immediately. And if anyone else also wants to download the whole festival, you'll receive her second meditation as well that will go into, would you be able to share what your second meditation was again?
Yeah, it's about bold self-expression and being authentic as a means to actually creating wealth. Because when you guys step into your full unapologetic selves, that's what's actually of most service to everyone in your life. And you guys know that. But this is my favorite meditation that I offer. So I encourage you to get the full festival so that you can get that second meditation. It's super good. I listen to it.
Oh, awesome. Well, everyone that's watching, open up what's possible. Open up what's possible. Keep dreaming. And Jessie, thank you so much. We'll see you all on the next video. Adios.